This past weekend.
Well, everybody, we live on Facebook and Twitter. We're about to tune in a few minutes on the radio. We appreciate everyone every week. As always, for our first time viewers, go ahead and hit the like button if you can hear it. For our regular viewers, go ahead and hit the love button. We appreciate y'all for continuing to come with us every Wednesday to talk about moving the city and the black community forward. Mac, you know, he always trying to.
Hey, man.
The microphones are good, man. They're good.
I'm gonna leave it.
You gonna leave it?
Yeah, I'm gonna shot right now. We good.
All right, let's go.
He's just excited.
Hey, man, this is what I do, baby. That's what I'm supposed to do.
We had a good week this week. That's why we're excited.
You ready to go?
My legs a little nimble. We're knocking on doors.
You're gonna walk 50,000 steps.
Yeah, man. That's the reason why I hate fish fries to this day. Me and my daddy took me to a fish fry when I was little, and then we was gonna pass out flies the rest of the day.
Hey, if it wasn't for folks like your dad, we wouldn't even be here,
That's
man.
it.
We wouldn't
I
even be
appreciate
here.
it, definitely.
Come on, man. Yeah, we wouldn't even be here.
Was this Facebook here?
Yeah.
I don't even have Facebook.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Reviving Mississippi Show. I'm your host, Dekeither Stamps. We got our co-host here, Mr. Mac Epps. What's going on, Mac?
Man, another day, another work.
That's right. Well, my legs feel a little nimble.
Oh, man, look, I've never seen, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen anyone that wear a Fitbit that get in over about 50,000 steps in one day?
Hey, it's campaign season. We move. We got the best weight loss program in the
I'm
city
telling
right
you,
now.
man.
We are moving every day.
And we just got to give a shout out to all the organizers for all the different events for the Easter egg hunts and everything. It was good to see the people out. I'm telling you, they got their vitamin D this weekend.
Hey, all those young folks who enjoyed the city's event, the other Easter egg hunts around town, I want to say thank you for providing a wonderful community series of events. This past weekend, it was a joy to see so much brotherly and sisterly love around the city during the celebration of the resurrection of Christ. So thank you for everyone who really took time out, because it takes time to do these things. A lot of us just maybe participate or go.
Right.
This past weekend was another example of the brotherhood and sisterhood that we have here in Jackson, Mississippi, and the people who really care about the community and about young folks. So thanks to everyone who participated in all these different events and put them together, buying the t-shirts. I mean, we started off Saturday morning over at Pearl Street AME Church.
With a walk.
A wonderful walk. You know, I did a few steps in the walk. We didn't even know we had won something to the end.
Yeah.
And so I do appreciate everyone at Pearl Street. Then we went over to the city's.
No, we went to what's name first?
What was it?
New Horizon.
Right. Went to New Horizon to the summit.
Right.
Bringing parents together with their children to talk about issues and bridging the gap of communication, because a lot of our family relationships are breaking down because of a lack of just basic communication.
Right.
And respect for each other. You know, respect for a child, respect for a parent.
Yeah.
If you don't have that respect at home, it cannot go outside the home. So I want to say thanks to the Pastor Croup over there and the entire New Horizon family for putting that event together, and they even raffled off a car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should put my name in there.
Oh yeah,
They
raffled
about
off
5
a car.
times.
Wow.
Yeah, they paid $10 and they raffled off a Chrysler 300 at the end of the day.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
That's a deep
They
car.
weren't playing over there at New Horizon this weekend. They raffled off a whole car for a $10 raffle ticket.
That's all right.
So thank you for those folks who helped put that together, because again, everybody doesn't need to do the same thing the same way.
Correct.
At the same time. A lot of times we want everybody to do the same thing the same way at the same time. With issues as deep and thick as the issues of our community, you need everybody doing a little bit in a different way in different parts of town, so that we can all lead towards the end goal. And from there, we went over to the city's Easter egg hunt at the VA Fields. Man, you talking about some young folks.
Some people out there.
There was some folks out there loving on each other and really celebrating the best of Jackson. Then from there, we went back over to the west side, best side.
There you go.
There you go.
No doubt.
Hey, I represent the west side of Jackson.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
You know, west and south side of Jackson. So I really appreciate everyone on the west side for putting that Easter egg hunt on those brothers and sisters out there. Really, I think it's their second or third year doing that. And they've been doing it out their pockets week helped sponsor this year, and several of the other folks around town. So I want to say thank you to the sponsors as well, because everybody is dealing with some economic challenges right now, and even for those folks who out of their own heart, even when it hurt them a little bit,
Right.
still gave a little bit to make this thing work. Then we went over to Queens. Mr. Starks over there always holds it down in Queens. He had a wonderful event over there to bring the community together to make sure that that they start operating as a group. And he had some great comments about working together as a group to make sure that the community in the Queens neighborhood votes as a group and operates so that they can achieve the best results in the end. So thanks, Mr. Starks.
And we participated in the buy-in at
Oh, yeah.
Hometown Barbecue.
After that, we went over to Hometown Barbecue.
Yeah, so we was moving, man.
Boy, we had a good time out there with Randy Wild Man Brown.
He a soccer team. And make sure we give a shout out, Brother Richard Mabasa over there in South Africa. Just let us know he's tuned in.
That's right. We appreciate brother and everybody in the Zulu Nation who's tuned in to us right now. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Over in South Africa.
right.
They tune in to us on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
appreciate everyone from our South Africa family who tunes in. And then from there we went back over. Where we go next, man?
We went through the ward.
Oh yeah, we went campaigning then.
Yeah, we went through the ward. I mean, it was. We got our steps in, and we got a chance to see a lot of people. I think it was well received to see community out. People really enjoyed themselves to be outside. It was a great day for that. Great camaraderie among everybody. You had candidates who were running for the same seat. That was there, and the community benefited from everything. So it was a great look for Jackson.
And one thing is, all politics aside.
Yeah.
On the west side, we ran into the Yarber campaign and the Lumumba campaign at several different events on that day, and there was even a sense of brotherly love amongst the candidates and amongst the supporters. Because a lot of times, the supporters kind of start to divide a little bit.
Exactly.
But even amongst the supporters and folks, I really appreciate those brothers for, not being so just, mean-spirited, just do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and let the people decide.
Right.
And I appreciate that sense of brotherly love that they displayed without,
That's an important point to make.
tearing each other apart. So I just want to tell those brothers for having the leadership necessary to not be so visceral. Because I know at the end of these races, it gets tight.
Right.
2 weeks from out from the election.
Right.
In 2 weeks, it's gonna be some tempers.
Right.
So I do appreciate those brothers for keeping an even keel and moving forward. We also had a great council meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were able to get a few wins. First, we were able to rename the Grove Park Golf Course in honor of Pete Brown. Just the golf course, not the park. Pete Brown, for those who don't know, Pete Brown was the first African American to win a PGA Tour event. And he played golf and lived in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
He's originally from Port Gibson. Him and his family moved to Jackson, and he played right here in Jackson for years.
Wow.
Okay.
And then he got on the PGA Tour and went on from there. But he was the Tiger Woods of the '60s.
Right.
And we have to link our history here in Jackson and link it to these other national groups to save our park, because there's some people who want to close it. No matter what they want to do, there's some folks out there who want to close our park. So we have to make sure that we display it properly. We have to make sure we display it properly and make sure that we do what's necessary so that our history can be displayed properly and we can add more value. And that's one step. We'll pretty soon move into a shadow box and make sure you get a nice plate up there. So when we do invite the PGA folks down, we got it all done properly. It looks nice. And then hopefully the PGA folks will make an investment into the Pete Brown golf course.
Definitely.
Linking it to their history.
Right, no doubt. Yeah, because it is their history.
It's their history.
It's
our history.
It's everybody's history.
It's everybody's history, right?
Yeah.
But right now it's not recognized to the degree we feel it should.
Definitely.
So hopefully that'll help us get more resources for our golf course there. And we also lowered the rates at the golf course.
All right.
Okay.
That's right. You can clap for that. All my golfers out there.
Broke brother can golf.
Right. So last year council voted to raise the rates. I didn't support that because I said, why are we raising the rates but not offering better services or new services or something else?
Right.
And business, you don't necessarily raise the prices of your services. You offer more services so you get more business.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we were able to raise the rates. I appreciate my council colleagues for agreeing to lower the rates, because I don't believe we should raise rates and not offer better or even a comparable service that people think is equal to the money they're given. So I do appreciate that. And we talked about several issues last night, but I'm not going to belabor this part of the show for that. We have in the studio with us a brother that's carrying on. First off, I'm going to give honor to his father, first and foremost. Brother Claude McInnes paved the way to stabilize electoral politics in the state of Mississippi and abroad, but more densely focused right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And, you know, he made it so that folks like myself could even do this. It could even be a part of this. And then from that, he birthed a young man that has a fire inside of him. And when he lets that fire out, it's like a dragon. And it burns hot.
Oh, yeah.
And what he does is he's able to move people mentally and emotionally just with the fire that's coming through his lungs. And ladies and gentlemen, we have Brother C.D. McInnes in the studio. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank y'all for having me, man. It's a pleasure. I'm always, brothers is doing good work. You know, Brother Stamps, Brother Mac, I'm here because y'all doing good work. I want to say that I know that the work that my father did is being represented in you guys. I'm proud of both of you all. And it's just a pleasure to be here, man, and see you guys working with the community. And I want to say to the community, everything that you guys were saying is that one of the things we have to do when we go to our elected officials, especially somebody like Brother Stamps and the ones who are working, it can't just be what can our officials do for us. It has to be what do you need us to do. Because a lot of times our officials are fighting for us, and they have to go in their back room with them devils.
Right.
And it's easier for our elected officials if they know the community got their back.
Right.
So it's good to ask during election time what you gonna do for us. But as a community, we have to always ask our elected officials, is it something you need us to do to help you help us? And so when you got good brothers like this, and then like I said, good brothers like Mac Ebbs here who's doing this work, that's the only thing to get me out the house, man.
You know, brother, let's have a personal testimony.
Oh.
You know, we had an incident about a little over a year ago where we had a very tragic and unfortunate issue where we had some police officers from another jurisdiction, enter Jackson, traveling in excess of 90 to 100 miles an hour through 14 streets in my ward, right? 14 streets, weaving through traffic, through neighborhoods in the middle of the night, and it led to the tragic death of a young man. And when it was time to stand up, you know, there was always a faithful few, right? Because it was already a media storm around some comments that Councilman Stokes had made, and I didn't beat him up. I backed him up, right? Because I understood
what he was saying. The gist of what he was saying.
Even I might not agree with how, but I agree with what.
Right.
And so we stood with him. And then when it happened again, then I said, well, let's take a different angle. Right. And so when it was time for that, I appreciate you for stepping forward, because as you remember, I made some comments comparing Clinton to Ferguson. And I had the whole city of Clinton mad at you,
right?
Whole city, right?
Right.
And so when it comes time for your elected official to stand up for you, and then you look behind you and say, well, where are
the people behind me?
Where the people, right? I got a whole city pissed off at me and, you know, coming after me, and where the people, and you were one of the group that stood with us and also voiced your concerns as a Clinton resident to your Clinton elected officials that, you know, it's just common sense, voice of reason. You know, why, when we only have, you know, 5 police cars on duty, why are all 5 police cars in Jackson?
There you go.
Chasing the tablet.
As if ain't no crime to Clinton.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, you were able to bring that angle to the conversation. And I just want to say I appreciate you for that. And just piggybacking on what you said.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's when you see people doing good work, you have to support good work. Because one of the things that we have to recognize is, if you don't support people that's doing good work, then the good work won't get done.
That's right.
It's all like movies. I tell folks, look, if it's a good movie or a good book, you don't buy it. Well, what Hollywood is going to say is, well, black folks don't want good movies.
Right.
And it's the same with our leadership. If it's good leadership and you don't support it, they're going to say, well, black folks don't want good leadership. So we have to be, you know, we want our leaders to be accountable to us, but we also need the people to be accountable to the leaders and go to the meetings, go to the town halls, let folks know what's going on.
Let's get this caller. Caller, welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
How you doing, Councilman Stamps?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Well, I'm a little behind because I'm watching live on Facebook. So I just wanted to say that good evening to you all, and I'm enjoying the show. And I want to say this, Brother Stamps. When I was a little boy, got to the 6th grade, they put me in a class called World History. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
And we got in that class, they taught us about the map of the United States, about the North and the South. But they also told us about the mighty Mississippi River, the longest river in the country. And they taught us about Mississippi. And when they taught us about Mississippi, they taught us about the 4 S's. So on May the 2nd, we don't have 4 S's right now. But the 3 S's we need to be concerned about is Councilman Stamps, Councilman Ernest Slaughter, and Councilman Kenny Triple I Stokes. Remember those 2 S's and just think about Mississippi, M-I-S-S. Remember Stamps, Stokes, I-S-S. And that's Ernest Slaughter. So on May the 2nd, go to the poll and vote for up. And I hate to interrupt the show, but I have to let the people know that it's very important. It's a crucial election coming up on May the 2nd, Mr. Stamps. But I want to tell you to keep doing the work in the community. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, brother. I never thought of it like that, but
Look, you're going to learn a lot of good things. Just keep holding on.
There you go.
And somebody done figured out something always.
So, Brother McKinney, you got a book here.
Yes,
Look at the
sir.
side of it.
Yes.
Right? I want a copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
First off.
No, we'll get the story first.
No, before you do that.
Yeah.
Some folks,
Yeah.
you don't have to ask, should I want that? Sometimes you get into stuff, I don't care what the fight's about. I can look at some fights and look who in it.
Right.
If Brother McGinnis in the fight,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm jumping in the fight.
Right.
We'll
Right.
figure out who did what.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
But I know he got the win.
Right.
Right.
And so if he has his name on the back of a book,
Yes, sir.
how much is the book? Tell us about the book and where can we get a copy?
This is actually the second book I wrote back in '96. It's titled The Lyrics of Prince, a literary look at a musical and creative poet, philosopher, and storyteller. And essentially it's a book where I analyze the lyrics of Prince like you would a poet or a short story writer. And what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do at the time was to let folk know, and I put him on, and what's important about the book is it's about Prince, but it's really also about the canon of great musical poets. Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, George Clinton, the Parliament Funkadelic, Jimi Hendrix, and that a part of black music has always been black intellect.
That's
Right? See, that's
Right.
the thing that we forgot today is that black music was always message music. Black music was always music for your mind, your body, and your soul.
That's right.
Today is just music for your body.
Right.
But as George Clinton said, free your mind and your butt will follow.
That's right.
So we always knew that black, but that's part of our African heritage, right?
That's correct.
African people, our art was always ritualized. It was always art for a purpose. It is only after, say, the age of industrialization and you get the white middle classes kind of created, and then art becomes art for leisure. But for black people, art that didn't educate, that didn't train, that was unheard of.
Right, it was
and so,
useless.
exactly. So this book is in the vein, and I wrote this, I tell people this book was written, it's not one of those books that jumped on the bandwagon now that Prince died. I wrote my book back in '96. It's been co-signed by him. We talked about, when I say co-signed, he read it, he liked it, we talked about it, I got to work with him. I know Matt want me to tell that story.
Yeah, I want you to tell the Prince story.
Working with him for a couple of years, but essentially...
Is it available?
Yeah, you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So you can get it Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can go to my website, psychedelicliterature.com, and you can see all 8 of my books, because my most recent book is a book that I wrote with Hollis Watkins about his life, Brother Hollis, the Sankofa of a movement man. But it's me looking at...
I got that one too.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. Yeah. And it's a book that's looking at Prince as what we call the generation of artists who came after the passage of the '64 Civil Rights Act, and how was black identity being discussed after that fact? And what I really like to show in the book is that if you look at Prince's songs, he was a person who kind of began with this kind of multicultural utopia.
Right.
But as he got into his career, he was like, yeah, multicultural utopia is cool, but I still got to write some songs about some specific issues that black folks are engaged in.
Right.
And a lot of his white fan base turned against him, particularly when he got to the album The Rainbow Children, when he becomes a Jehovah's Witness, but he's also saying, look, I want to rededicate my life to Christ, but part of my rededicating my life to Christ is saying that, hey, if Jesus died for me to be liberated from all sins and oppression, that means I've been liberated from the oppression of white supremacy.
Right.
And there are specific songs, and so I chronicle, right? I say that all black people have what I call the come to Jesus moment.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's not that we are against, integration. It's not that we're against a multicultural society, but we had that moment where we go, wait, in order for this multicultural utopia to exist, don't we have to take care of black people's issues first?
That's right.
And don't I have to have an anchor
There
right.
we go.
before I fly my kite?
There
right.
we go.
Right. Don't you
There
don't
we
fly
go.
away.
And
Right.
and if
you got your kite got to be tied to
It
something.
has to be.
And what I plot in my discussion of his work is that narrative arc.
Right.
That he began this kind of, I want to be accepted by everybody, and I want to have this mainstream thing. But then as you get to learn, and because he was always in control of his career, he wrote the songs, he played the instruments. Jimmy Jam has a great story. Jimmy Jam said, you have to understand that the industry never liked Prince. He said, no matter what and I was like, well, why? He said, because with Prince, he gets 6 checks before they get 1.
That's right.
See, with the average artist, right, everybody else get a check.
Get one
But with
check.
Prince, he gonna get the check for writing the song. He gonna get the check for playing all the instruments on the song. He's gonna engineer the song, right? He's gonna do everything that needs to be done before they get a check. So a person like Prince is dangerous because you can't control him.
Right.
Right.
And so what the industry exactly has
Free.
always tried to do is say, how can we get more artists that have less skill? I always tell my students, I don't care what your major is, master your skill.
That's right.
Because if you don't, I always tell my students, either you master your skill or somebody gonna master you.
That's right.
That's right.
And so if you don't want an easy A in your biology class, your math class, because an easy A means when you get in the real world, you can't do anything.
That's right.
And so Prince mastered his craft, and in mastering his craft, he couldn't have any masters. And that's one of the things I talk about, how he discusses that in his lyrics throughout his entire life. And what I also like is that it shows is that everybody can grow.
That's right.
Who you are at 18 is not who you're supposed to be at 28. And who
That's
you
right.
are at 28 is not who you're supposed to be at 38.
That's
So
right.
the other thing I show is that what Prince was able to do was grow and develop himself as a man to understand that the child that I was, who may have signed some contracts that did this, I'm now in a position. He once said to me, he said that at some point a man has to ask himself, how much money do you need before you do right by your people?
That's right.
And so,
That's a deep question.
and that shows.
Ask that question again,
Yeah.
bro.
How much money do you need before you do right by your people?
Let's go a little deeper. As a man, how much money do you need before you do right by your
There we go.
family?
There we go.
Right? Your children.
Yep.
Your family.
Yep.
How much money you need?
Yeah.
Right? How many Lexuses you need
There you
to
go.
through before you buy a rental property
There you go.
that your child may need one day?
Exactly.
Or before you put some money aside.
There you go.
How much money you need? Right?
And
then because we have to put our positions in perspective.
Yep.
And in context
Mhm.
of our situation that we are living in.
Yep.
Because if you put your life in context, you will submit to the fact your life's not about you.
That's right.
Your
Right.
life is about what happens 7 generations after
Exactly.
you're gone.
What you did for other people. And
That's
whose
right.
feet you done washed.
That's it.
Right. And with being a free man, I mean, the thing about it is creating economic freedom for yourself,
Mhm.
intellectual freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And see, intellectual freedom is going to find out the true knowledge about yourself and your culture and who you are.
Mhm.
And when you get in a position like that, you become, like you said, you're a scary thing for some.
Yep.
And they don't want to fool with you because they can't control you.
Mhm.
So people like Prince and then the music he made, and I actually heard, matter of fact, we talk about rest in peace to Charlie Murphy with the Dave Chappelle show.
Mhm.
Charlie Murphy actually talked about that and related to Rick James.
Yeah.
Some of the freest men you
Yeah.
ever seen, they did what they wanted, they dressed how they wanted because they created their own economic system.
Yep.
And they couldn't be controlled.
Right.
So, and that's dangerous.
I
Especially
love
when,
being free.
when you
Yeah,
look like
yeah.
us. That's dangerous. as you always say, now I'm gonna figure out how to do something if I had to go fry chicken. I'm gonna make it. We're gonna make it work.
I tell my students all the time, I'm not against you graduating and making money, right? But I tell my students, here's what you need to understand. If you graduate from Jackson State,
right,
and go make a job where you make $100,000, that's a nice story. And they say, a nice story, just making $100,000. I said, want me to tell you a better story? A better story is you graduate from Jackson State and could put a sign up somewhere, and in big letters it says, I can do this, and in small letters it says, and you will pay me this much to do it. Because at that moment, you are not employing yourself, you're now going to start to employ other people.
right.
So what we have to do is when we graduate people or give them skills, we have to turn those people with those skills into people who can help and employ other people. We have too many people. Ask my students, when you go to college, are you being trained or educated?
You're right.
And they say, well, what's the difference? A trained person is a person that's being taught to be subservient to someone else.
Yeah, are you assimilating?
There we go.
And assimilation is dangerous. Dangerous. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why when you hear us talk about integration,
Mm-hmm.
and that period of integration was one of the most tragic things that happened to the black community.
Let's be clear
because there was no leadership.
Let's be clear about
at that time.
integration.
Right.
Black people didn't want integration.
Right.
What black people wanted was to be desegregated.
Right.
So for everybody listening, let's be clear that we tell people that there's a
Let me catch this call.
Good.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment? Hello, caller. You're live on the air. Okay. All right. But what black people did want was desegregation because there was an understanding of the issue with integration because you would lose economic control of the
Exactly.
community. It wasn't about you being able to shop in a white business. It
There
was
you go.
about them putting a Walmart in your neighborhood.
There we go.
Them putting churches in your neighborhood or McDonald's. That did not exist because you had to stamp super burgers. In your
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
You had-
Right.
Right.
You didn't.
You
In
didn't
fact,
need Burger
in fact,
King.
our burgers were better than their
Yeah,
burgers.
They still are.
There you
You
go.
had a German
So
Martin's
go over
chicken.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Exactly.
You had a German Martin's chicken in your neighborhood.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, this is Todd Mayfield, Curtis Mayfield, son from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm listening to y'all show.
Hey, sir. Welcome to the show. You're live on the air.
Okay. I just want to let y'all know y'all got a good topic going on. But y'all exactly correct. My father was the same way.
That's right.
He owned all his rights. to
Exactly.
Music.
So what you got going on out there, sir? And how are we gonna keep the legacy of your father alive?
That's right.
I'm gonna go watch Superfly when I get home.
And going as we speak.
Very good.
Well, I sure appreciate
And
it.
you're right, brother, that your father, he not only paved the legacy for creating a whole new musical genre for black folks, he paved the legacy for helping black people to take control of their legacy. So we owe a great debt to your father and to you for keeping that legacy alive. So we appreciate you calling in.
No problem, no problem. I just wanted you to, the unity that in the black community needs to stick together, especially in the industry of the music, because they trying to take the old music and flip it for the new generation.
Right.
And we need to keep our parents' music, going like it should be.
Right.
Well, brother, whenever you're next in Jackson, Mississippi, go on, stop on by and pay us a visit.
I'll be there in a couple of weeks. I'm on tour right now with the David Man, Cunningham Man tour.
Oh, that's
All right. Well, when you come in town, definitely give us a holler so we can bring you on the show to help promote your event that you'll be coming to.
I appreciate you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
God
Be
bless
blessed.
you.
Take care, brother.
Now, look at that now. Amazing.
Yeah.
That-
Curtis Mayfield's son.
Curtis
Yeah, he
Mayfield's son. For those who don't know Curtis Mayfield, if you like music from the 70s, if you ever seen Superfly, the whole soundtrack was Curtis Mayfield.
That's right.
So that's music. When you hear talk about a lot of the sampling going on, it come from people like Curtis Mayfield. It
You
come
about
from
winner, baby.
oh man, it come from folks like Black Moses.
That's it.
So
I'm gonna rock that all the way home.
With-
That's it. We'll win.
hey,
There
I'm
you
going
go.
to watch Superfly when I get down.
Keep on pushing.
Yes, sir.
So I was looking on my phone here, brother.
Mhm.
You have a treasure trove of books on Amazon
Yeah.
right now.
Yes, sir.
How can folks dive into the rich and powerful body of work that you display to the world?
You can, like I said, you can go to my website, which is psychedelicliterature.com. You can go to Amazon. And if you go to my website and you click on some of the books, we have samples. So people can, if you go to the poetry books, you can sample some of the poems. If you go to the short story books, you can sample some of the short stories. If you go to the essays, you can sample some of the essays, and then you can hit me up directly, because when you go to the website, it has an email, and we can add you to my listserv. I have a listserv. I know Mac is on my listserv, and I send out different things. And what I try to do is what my mentors taught me to do is not all about me. So when you get on my listserv, you won't just be hearing about what I'm doing. I'm gonna tell you about a brother like Charlie Braxton, who's a great poet and playwright. In his own right, has another book coming out. This is Charlie's third book coming out, and just so many other fabulous writers. You have to understand, Mississippi was the home of Etheridge Knight and Richard Wright and Margaret Walker Alexander and Jerry Ward and all these great writers. So you have to understand that what I'm doing is standing on the legacy of these giants. And so what we want people to do is go to the website, go to Amazon, and one of the things that I do, particularly for my poetry books, is that I keep my poetry books $10, because it's hard for a college student to pay more than $10 for a book.
That's right.
And so you will never see any of my no matter how many poems in there, you'll never see my poetry books. And this Prince book it's just a big book. So
it probably cost you $25
yeah, exactly. So and so that we only charge you $30 for it.
Right.
So because I think that the information is important. That's why I was raised by my mother and father. That information, if you have information, it's an article about. People always ask me how can they get published, whether self-publishing or mainstream publishing. I got an article, and people always tell me, they said, man, you need to take that article down, because every time somebody goes to that article and read that article, you lose $2,000. Like they're like, it's $2,000 worth of information, but that's not who African people are. African people, we don't hoard information to get rich. We understand that the more information we give to our people, the better life. What we don't understand is, if I help Mac can help Stamps. Stamps gonna help me.
We understand vibration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's come back to volume.
If I put the right rhythm out there, it's gonna float back around to me.
Exactly.
Later on.
There you go.
Just when I need it.
Yep.
But if I don't put the right vibration,
if I'm holding it,
if I just hold it in, there means no outside vibration. So when I need it, right?
It's gonna be like the guy with the talent, put his one talent in his pocket.
Now I just got a comment. I got to stop, pause for a second.
Right.
You're listening to 90.1 FM, home of Mr. Charles Evans.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to stop and say that, because that brother is coming on next. So stay tuned in. In a few minutes, you're going to hear Let's Talk with Mr. Charles Evans. And I do have an announcement I want to make right quick. There is a Let's Talk forum for the mayoral and alderman races in Crystal Springs, Mississippi, at New Zion United Methodist Church on Monday, the 24th, 2017 at 6:15 p.m. So if you're down there in Crystal Springs, Mississippi, hey, it's near and dear to my heart. Copiah County, right? Go on down to the Mayor and Alderman Forum on the 24th at 6:15 at New Zion United Methodist Church. Everybody knows where it is, right on Piatt Street. My mother's a member there, and go on out there and make sure you make a good decision. We got some opportunities down there in Crystal Springs to get some new folks in play. We got some opportunities to keep some folks that need to be there. So I'm all about folks having to stand up for themselves, and do that. We got a few more announcements to make as well.
A few more announcements. Actually, we'll talk about the Friendship Ball. The Friendship Ball, I think this is the third annual Friendship Ball, this Saturday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Museum of Art, downtown Jackson, business attire, semi-formal. And it's to raise awareness, and also is to bring recognition to Dr. Robert Luckett and Miss Pamela Jr. So make sure you come out. You can purchase tickets at the door. And once again, that's the Friendship Ball. It's a party with a purpose. This Saturday at 7 p.m., the Mississippi Museum of Art, downtown, where business attire are semi-formal, and you can go to www.jackson2000.com. Other announcement we have the Chat and Chew with Councilman of Ward 4, Dekeither Stamps, 11:30 a.m. at Next Level, the backside of the Metro Center. Come out. If you support the work that this brother is doing, if you think he's doing a good job, if you want to cuss him out, come on out to the Chat and Chew.
Yeah, don't miss the food.
Don't miss the food now. Tomorrow at Next Level on the backside of the Metro Center at 11:30. Look for the stamp signs. You will see them out there. Make sure you come there and let's have a conversation on how we can keep moving Jackson forward and revitalizing Mississippi. Next.
And also, you know, the events we have are continual. Some people say we don't stop campaigning. I say this is how you serve.
Right.
Right.
I was taught by folks like your father and several others that if you constantly serve, why should you have to do all this campaign stuff? Right. Election day is a celebration, and campaign season is a celebration of the time we've spent together over the term.
That's perfect.
And then election day is a culmination of that celebration. If I got to go back, if I got to go back and
tell you what you done did,
right.
What you had meant to do,
I sit here every Wednesday night,
every Wednesday
from 6 to 7 o'clock,
right,
on Facebook and on town hall meetings. You know, we have a town hall meeting once a quarter, and I try to make a lot of neighborhood association meetings. I wish I could make more. You know, but you know, we go to neighborhood association meetings. We have felt we've stood on the right side of the issues as far as the people are concerned. So, you know, my view of campaign season is let's celebrate the work we've done together, and let's talk about moving it forward. My only, let's catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Councilman Tim.
Hey, brother.
Larry Nelson Sr., how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Nelson?
I'm doing just great. Hey, listen, man, you know, I just want to let you know we're very, very proud of the work that you continue to try to do for the people here in the city of Jackson, and particularly what you do for the folks in Ward 4. And we're going to encourage everyone to come out on May 2nd and re-elect you as city councilman in Ward 4. I'm very, very proud of you, man. You know, I'm down in these streets, up and down from city to city, and everywhere I go, just about somebody say hi to Brother Stamp. So you're out there, you're doing some great things. Keep it up, and we're very proud of you, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
I say.
And one thing about Brother Nelson, he puts the appropriate accountability.
There you go.
You see, because it's just love.
Yeah.
Right. You know, he'll come to you and say, "Hey, I'm hot about this. I'm happy about that." And I believe that's how the relationship should be.
Right.
You know, you shouldn't just be happy all the time, because if you're not happy, express that you're not happy. So then I turn around and take that same fire you gave me and give it to the source of your unhappiness.
Keep you on your toes.
That's it.
You gotta keep you on your toes.
Right. You know,
transfer that energy.
But somebody got to give it to transfer.
Right.
You know, so I appreciate the ups and downs, because we have had some ups and downs. Some smiles and frowns over the last 4 years.
But that's part of it.
Right. That's part of it.
You know, and I want to say that when you was talking about the Yarborough and the Lumumba campaign, and that what we have to remember doing. We don't have to mirror what other folks do outside our community. We need to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. See, it's all, we need to understand that what happens is ultimately, it's an ideological debate. At the end of the day. So, Brother Stamps and somebody else, they want to get a job done. What they present to you is, here's my ideology of how best to get the job done. Right? Not about, I don't like this brother ain't no good. It's an ideological understanding of what policy is best to get the work done.
That's right.
If we always keep that focus,
that's right.
That I'm not angry at you, I got an issue with this particular ideology. And if we do that, rather than mirroring what other folks do, mudslinging and getting personal, we'll be better in our community.
That's right. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
How you doing, that council?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
All right. Who's that brother that's in the studio with you?
That's Brother C. Lee McGinnis.
Mr. McGinnis, I have to say, man, I agree with you 100% exactly what you're saying. Man, you're speaking the truth.
I appreciate it, brother.
A lot of times people try and take this political thing to be you against me. It's ideological differences.
Right.
The truth is, you know, I'm going to say something that I heard somebody else say, and people can take it and do what they want to with it. But I like to quote people, and they tell me that Ronald Reagan said that just because we agree on 80% of things doesn't mean that I dislike you the other 20%.
Right. That's true.
And so everybody knowing Councilman Stamps knows this, that he and I over the last 4 years have had some differences.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between Councilman Stamps and I, instead of sitting over on the end of his radio, he and I talk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and in the midst of those conversations,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to see where we are alike.
Hey, I say,
And
bro.
in the places where we differ, that's okay.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
And I'm saying this, there is no greater champion, let me get it right, for Ward 4,
Yeah.
than Councilman Dekeither.
That's right.
It's just a fact. It's just a fact.
That's right.
I'm
That's a
not
fact.
saying that. My relationship with Councilman Stamps is in his job as councilman.
Right.
We were not friends. You understand?
Right.
I know him only as councilman, and I like Councilman Stamps.
That's right. We never, when I
That's right.
hang out together.
Y'all went at the barbecue together.
No.
Never. But I know him through his work.
Right.
And therefore, I can make, speak things of him through the most principal position because he's an elected official, and that's through his work for his community.
Right.
Now, for a while now, Councilman Stamps, and I've been fussing at it, Councilman Stamps been having folks calling his show, attacking him personally, talking about he doesn't have the mental faculties to do the job. But you know what, Councilman Stamps? You know in the book, in the good book, in the book of Luke, it says that you sit in Christ says, if you sit in my right hand, I will make your enemies your enemies your footstool.
That's right.
And during this election cycle, I have seen those people who are attacking you nonsensically have become your footstool, even telling you the N stands for super stands. You understand what I'm saying? So what I want to tell everybody on this is, Councilman Stamps not going to tell y'all how wonderful a job he's done. I'm going to do it for him. This man works. Listen to me, people. This is a working public official. He works. And he works hard for the people over there in Ward 4. Not only for Ward 4, but all throughout this city. His door is always open. His ear is always open. I cannot think of any elected official in the city that I've ever had contact with that is more open and personable and will listen to you.
Right.
So I'm going to tell everybody, when you all go out there and you all consider that councilman for Ward 4, go out there and look at the work that this man has done. And when you see that the work that Councilman Dekeither Stamps in Ward 4 has done, there's no choice.
Right.
So go out and re-elect Councilman Stamps for City Council Ward 4. Councilman Stamps, you don't have to change a thing that you're doing. But you'll see, just in a matter of about 2 or 3 weeks, the folks who are coming at you, now they're talking about Stamps. But remember, you have seen your enemy. You have seen the hearts of these people. Don't you forget it. You hear me?
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate
Okay, man.
it.
Thank you, man.
We got a couple more announcements. Since we're talking about Ward 4, we actually will have Comcast Cares at Boys and Girls Club right here on Raymond Road in the heart of Ward 4 from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday on the 22nd. They will have face painting, landscaping, and different services. Make sure you go out there and check that out. The Boys and Girls Club this Saturday, April 22nd from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you're in the area and don't have anything to do, come check it out. Also dealing, while we're still on the same circle of children, Big Brothers Big Sister at Metro Center this Saturday, also from 9 to 2 p.m. inside the Metro. We have Bowl for Kids' Sake. For more information and learning how to participate, make sure you give a call to Big Brothers Big Sister.
That's Metro 24, right?
Metro, yeah.
Right.
Now, here's the other thing. Why we have this brother in the studio? Some people hadn't asked that question yet. So this Friday, there will be a celebration and a tribute to Prince at the Next Level. Doors open at 8 p.m. Mr. Terrell Mosley performing. They will have a Prince lookalike contest, lip sync, and there's a $250 grand prize. And you can purchase your tickets at Next Level. So the 21st also represents another day. So we want to make sure that we understand about a musical genius as he's been called. The purple one, as a lot of people know him as. And Councilman Stamps understand that purple represents royalty.
So, I'll tell you a quick.
Yeah, tell us a quick story.
I'm tell you first, before I finish the story, I'll tell you a quick Terrell Moses story.
All right.
Many of y'all in the Jackson area if you know Terrell Mosley, you won't remember him. Terrell Mosley was a struggling singer in the Jackson area in the late 80s.
Right.
Then went out to California and tried to do his thing. Tell you how bad this brother is. This brother's so bad and sounds so much like Prince. He would be singing in the club on Friday and Saturday night. He would be, you know, back in that time, it was Name of the Game, Maximilian, Snooty, all what we had back in the 80s, right? The people in the club would swear he was lip syncing. And every night, not one night, every night he performed, he would have to make the band stop playing, and he would have to sing a cappella. Because people truly believe, he was 2 songs he would always sing, Adore and Scandalous by Prince. And they believe
They were Prince.
that's a record.
Right.
That ain't him. And he would have, so if you want to hear some of the baddest singing and a dude who sounds so much like Prince that people used to think it was a record, you need to come to the next level this Friday night and hear Terrell Mosley, because that brother can blow.
Now, give us a quick
Prince story.
Prince story, but we got 14 minutes left to go on the show.
Okay.
I can't let you leave here without lighting the mic on
I don't
fire.
have anything.
Oh man,
Oh,
he got
I
some on
said
the
that,
top.
man.
I promise. I tell you what. If you, I think I may have one of my poems on my website. If one of y'all, I don't do this. If you go to my website, go to my thing. I didn't bring anything, man. I'm sorry. If I didn't know.
Look, the phone lines are lit up. Whatever you just said about Prince, we got calls coming in.
All right. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
This is Sam. This is Malcolm. I had one more thing I wanted to bring up earlier when I called. Let me say this. I want to personally thank you, my brother Dekeither Stamps, for not selling out Jackson. You know, we're in the middle of a situation
That's
right
right.
now.
That's right, brother.
We're in the middle of a situation right now where it's a complex thing. A lot of people are not happy about it. But I want to personally thank you for standing up with Councilman Stokes and being for the people and not being for the other side. I mean, there's enough people that's for the other side. But thank you. I want to personally thank you
That's
for
important.
not going down the wrong avenue. Thank you, Mr. Stamps, for not selling Jackson out. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it, brother. And I'll educate y'all on that issue next week so y'all understand. Hello, call. Well,
We don't hung up here.
call back, call.
All right, go ahead, CD.
Let's see which one was
The
it?
quick Prince story.
Okay, so two quick things. Prince.
Oh, we got one
Wait.
more. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hey, Dekeither, thank you. Real quick, I know you're trying to get Dr. McGinnis back on, but I want to say one thing. When he got up to speak at the funeral, at Officer Harper's funeral, people just didn't know what was going on. I thought I'm a bear trying to get him. But when the words came out, it just started touching people's spirit. But what they didn't hear was Bishop said it was a special guest that wasn't on the program. But when Doc got up, it was just like, I already felt that spirit. It just flowed. And then he just captivated everybody. It just made people not feel so sad anymore. And that's the kind of vibe that comes from him and came from his dad as well.
Thank you so much.
I just appreciate that. It was such enlightening. It touched me. And the people beside me was like, well, what the heck is he doing? But when you got in your flow, it was all there. I just appreciate you and just keep up the good work. Thank you, Dekeither, for taking my call.
I thank you so much. Thank you.
He's an artist and he's serious about his stuff.
Well, a couple of things. One of the strangest things about Prince is two things. One, he doesn't say goodbye.
Me.
No, he like literally doesn't say
I
goodbye.
never say goodbye.
Right. Oh, you know?
I always say later.
No, he doesn't say
No.
anything.
Yeah.
Like you'll be talking on the phone to Prince, and it's something later. You know, he'll just hang up. All right. One of the other strange things that he would do is so he would call, and if the person that he wants to talk to doesn't answer the phone, he won't say anything. Now you got to understand, when I first started working with him, this was back in the day. Remember when the caller did with that little box?
Right.
So you got that little box. So and we, you know, at the time I lived in addition. We had houses in the back. I'm in my office in the back, so we lived in addition. So we got one phone. We ain't got 2, 3 phones. We ain't got no cell phone.
Right.
So the phone is in the front when it rings. Well, my wife can look at the thing. It's Chanhassen, Minnesota. We don't know but one person live in Chanhassen, Minnesota. But since my wife is since she knows I'm in the back of my office, she knows this is an important call. She'll pick up the phone, right? And she'll be like, McKinnis residence. Hello, McKinnis residence. Nothing. McKinnis residence.
Hold on.
Nothing. He won't say nothing.
Right.
I get it there. He done hung up. Less than 15 seconds later, phone ring again. I pick up the phone, like his resident, and people don't know Prince has this really deep voice, so he's like, Silly, are you busy? Because what we were doing was we was working on his book. He was getting ready, he liked my book so much, he wanted to write his own book.
Right.
And so that's what so he wanted to talk about it. And when he would call, we'd email, he'd talk about the plans. And so finally my wife started making a joke of it. Because my wife don't, if you ever met my wife, she don't care. So she would catch the phone, hello, hello. I'm gonna start singing. I know you don't want that to happen, but he still would never say anything. And so finally, he called back. I picked up the phone. Like his residence, tell your wife she's funny. You ready to talk? I mean, it literally. So it's like you be talking, and you know, and then the phone, boo. It just like literally no, and you just know where he. And the other thing was that we trying to write this book together. Brother didn't want you writing in his presence. Because he has this thing with journalists about misquoting him and things, right? So the very first time we met, we talking, and with Prince, I never knew when we was just talking or when we was talking about the book. So I had to always be. So the very first time this happened, we in the room in Paisley Park, we in the office room. So he's talking, I started thinking, oh, okay, this may be something for the book. So I got, this is one of the rare times now I have my book bag, anything. I reach in, I get my pad, right? I get ready, I look up, brother has gone ice stone. And then it does, like, oh, that's right. He don't like people taking notes. So I had to ease the pad down, right?
Right.
Find a way to get the conversation going again. He finally came out that shell. We got it going. We write. He gets up and walks away like Batman. Like I literally look to the left and I look back. He's gone. I sit there for about 10 minutes. His assistant comes in and she says, "Is the meeting over?" I was like, I don't work here. And then she said, "Did he do that thing when he just leaves?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, the meeting's over." I get in it, they got me a taxi. I need to go to the hotel because remember, I didn't have any notes. So I got to write everything down that I can remember.
Right.
I ended up writing, I don't know how much. When I finally they fly me out the next day, fly me back to Jackson. I get back to Jackson, I type everything up. I hand up about 5 or 6 pages of stuff. Emailed it to him, I emailed it to the assistant. He called me the very next day and he gave me the 2 best compliments that anybody could give a Prince fan or an artist. The first thing he said was, "Did you already have this written?" I was like, "No, this is from our discussion." He was like, "Really? There are very few people work as fast as me. I know I had the right person." Right? Inside, I'm like, yeah. And then he said we was talking about art, and he was looking for a way he wanted to define art. Because what our book was going to be, it was not going to be a tell-all of all you people he slept with. His book was going to be about art, religion, and black people. And what he wanted to do was write a book about how art and religion have always been the saving grace of black people. Right? And, man, what I tell you this, he was supposed to be then later, because we didn't get our big footage, right? The things he said about fatherhood would have blown people away. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. If the things he said about fatherhood would have. So the second thing he said was this definition we have of art. That's the best definition of art I've ever read. I'm done.
So give us a definition.
Basically, man, as a creation of the Creator, is a being designed to create us back to the Creator.
Thank you. Brother,
Say
that
again.
Everybody, lower your windows up, get off your cell phone.
Listen to this definition of art.
To this definition of art.
All right.
Man, as a creation of the Creator, is designed to create in a way that evolves us back to the Creator. So that if you're either doing one or two things with your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're either building man to their highest point or you're destroying man. There's no in between. Everything you do either destroys or builds.
That's right.
So it was, and they quote now, they said, when you see or hear you, this is see God.
There you go.
To the degree of understanding the connection, the spirituality, and how deep everything is, it puts you on a whole different plateau.
Well, I will tell everybody one other thing. The Charlie Murphy story is true. I got to see it on my own. When Prince would be working at the studio, he never really got stumped, and we'd be talking. If he ever got anything, he was hitting the big things work out, dude would get up from where he was. And there's, like, Paisley Park is this huge. People don't really know how huge Paisley Park is. They shoot movies in this thing. That's how big it is. There's a full court in there. He would leave the studio. If he gets stuck coming up with an idea, can't work it out, he would leave the studio in his silk shirt and his heels and go shoot baskets. I seen this brother drain threes and heels. So the Charlie Murphy story, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, he doing that like it's normal to drain threes and silk shirts and heels. Right. So, but I mean, he was a avid sports fan. Probably sports was just second to music for him. He always made sports analogies. People was talking about why Dwayne Wade was crying the day of Prince's death because Dwayne Wade was one of Prince's favorite ball players. And he had told Dwayne Wade that inspired Dwayne Wade. So yeah, but the dude was, and the other thing I want people to know is that Prince was really well read. And you know, you don't make, that's why I tell young people, you can't make great art if you stupid.
That's right.
That's right.
You have to be intellectually developed to make art that's going to be quality for people. I always tell people, I do this with my students, I say, if you cut a tube with toothpaste in the middle, what you going to find? Toothpaste. If you cut a tube with toothpaste at the top, what you going to find? Toothpaste. Cut a tube with toothpaste at the bottom, what you going to find? Toothpaste. Because the only thing they put in that tube is
Toothpaste.
So if you put foolishness in your mind for breakfast, you put foolishness in your mind for lunch,
right.
and foolishness in your mind for dinner, when you open your mouth, what's coming out?
Foolishness.
So therefore, to be a great artist that can help touch and heal people, you have to put righteousness in your mind for breakfast,
right.
righteousness in your mind for lunch, and righteousness in your mind for dinner. And then when you open your mouth, righteousness will touch the people.
That's it.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, this has to be in the top 2 shows.
Hey, this is a great show.
We've been on this weekly show for 3 years now.
That's right.
And it feels like the hour just floated by.
It did.
It did.
He's a storyteller.
Give us your website and the other information so people can purchase a piece of the God in you.
You can come and just go to psychedelicliterature.com and don't worry, people. I can't spell psychedelic. Just get close. The internet will help you out. but if you go to psychedelicliterature.com, you'll get my email. You'll see all my books. There are actually links on the internet. You can go see the Showquay. The poem I read for Showquay is on there. We're gonna try to get the piece for Officer Allen up there. There's so many different things. But one of the things about which I'm really proud is there's a great interview with me and the sister Natasha Trethway. Natasha Trethway is from Mississippi. She was the U.S. Poet Laureate. She's a Pulitzer Prize winning poet. There's a really good interview with me and Natasha Trethway up there. So again, it's psychedelicliterature.com. And if you want to be part of my listserv, where you get weekly updates about what's happening around Jackson and literary, go to the website, get my email, hit me up, just say, hey man, add me. And you're going to get literary stuff, but as Mac will tell you, if it's something political that's going on, that's on my mind, I'm my father's son, so I'm going to say something. But I want to end by saying, you know, I thank Brother Mac and Brother Dekeither because they're using the blessings they get from Jehovah to make the world a better place. And if y'all don't get anything else from these 2 brothers, right, let's teach young people that the best life in the world is to be a feet washer like Jesus. In fact, the next somebody who asks you for their vote, see, because I know the Dekeither would know the answer. The next person asks you for their vote, ask them whose feet they wash.
That's right.
And if they can't tell you they wash somebody's feet,
right.
don't cash them. See, you can't, someone who's never done anything and then want to run for office, you can't be surprised when he gets in office and don't do anything.
Well, I say if you never serve, you can't leave.
There you go.
That's right. Matt, we got 1 minute to go.
All right, one more announcement. Remember, tomorrow, next level, come out for the challenge with Dekeither Stamps Ward 4. Next city councilman remaining in the seat. Come out, talk to him, bring a donation if you would like. At next level on the backside of the Metro Center from 11:30 a.m. until, please come on out, support the good work that's going on inside the city of Jackson. This Friday night, the Prince Tribute at Next Level, 8 p.m. You can buy your tickets at the door, or you can come by and buy them throughout the day, through the week.
All right, we got 30 seconds to go. What's your comment, caller?
Hey, I just want to say, Brother Stamps, first of all, it's a great show. I'm listening to you through TuneIn Radio, and I want to say God bless Steve E. McKinnis. The man walks the talk. He's helping me with a group of kids over at the YMCA right now, and we certainly do appreciate it, but he's a good man. I just want to say thanks for having him on today.
I appreciate
Thank
it,
you, brother.
Bring the books with you, C-Lee.
That's right.
He will have the books Friday night.
And as always, everyone, make sure you come on out to go to impacttickets.com to pick up your tickets to the Prince event at the Next Level Entertainment. And as every week, everyone, never let anybody put you in a position when you don't love your own people.
Amen.
Because when you hate your own people, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. We got great events lined up. We got a great softball game league coming up. Go ahead and give the that's Saturday, right?
What?
The softball tournament. Well, we'll post that stuff on Facebook coming up later on. Mr. Charles Evans coming up next. I love y'all, Jackson. I love y'all, Mississippi. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Thank y'all, man. This was fun.
Shit on Facebook.
He was on fire today.
This was fun, man.
Thank y'all. Enjoyed it.
Love y'all. God bless.
Hey, Monica be like.